Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody. Thanks for watching Local Sports Report. I'm your host, Coach Tripp, along with my buddy, Coach Mark Hobley.
Peace.
Coach Hobbs, and we got a special guest, good friend of ours, Coach Richard Dix. Dixie, good to see you.
Hey, good to see y'all. Hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah, we're doing great. Doing great, buddy. I want to, number one, thank you for being on the show, and thank you for what you do for all the kids, all those youngsters. I know we sometimes assistant football coaches or assistant track coaches, whatever you are, you know, you don't get you get a lot of flack, you don't get the recognition, but man, it's almost a volunteer's job for as little as we get paid. So it comes from the heart. So I know most coaches have a great heart, and I know you do. I want you to start your story, where we grew up, talk about mom, dad, any siblings, and how you got involved in athletics.
Okay. Yeah. So, real basic is I'm born and raised here in Pensacola, Florida. I'm a product of the Escambia County school system. Grew up playing sports. Baseball was number one back then. Started over there at Myrtle Grove, baby. Go Eagles. Destined to be an Eagle. But grew up there, played baseball, majority of my life, and got into football about 6th grade, and my parents finally let me start playing organized football. And while it was great, I had a bad injury first year out there, and but I had some great teammates over there to grow up at that time. The Fatu twins, and then Joe Hawaii, and
Escambia, Catholic and Escambia boy.
Yeah, but we all grew up at the Grove together and played junior football together. And Dad was coach and uncles were coaches, so we had a pretty good staff. But I grew up at the Grove, and then when we got to high school, started at Pine Forest my freshman year. Played football. Came back from a torn ACL, so I did tear my ACL whenever I was in 6th grade. And I actually played a whole year of baseball on it before they had an MRI, and we actually knew what it was. And, long story on that. But yes, and I'll go into the story, and then I'll talk about mom and dad. But got to Pine Forest, and I bounced back and forth in between Pine Forest and Escambia. I played football, didn't really play baseball in high school. For some reason, I knew it was my better option and my better sport, but it was just something about the passion of football that just kept me, saying, hey, football's going to be it. Football's going to be my ticket out of here. And, while I gave it everything I got, it just probably should have picked a different trajectory, I was serviceable, but I never was the best. But at the end of the day, I was knowledgeable, and that was, that's pretty much my sports story coming up. In my senior year of high school, I ended up graduating from Escambia, but I ended up tearing my ACL again in football. So my body kind of failed me in sports when it comes to that, and I knew I wanted to get in coaching one day, and one thing led to another, and finally got into coaching. But
who gave you your break? And who gave you your break in coaching? And why do you like track and field? Because you're the track and field coach at Pine Forest High School.
Yes, sir. So who gave me my break in coaching? The great Glenn Bousquet, Coach Bousquet over there at Escambia High School.
Yes.
So he and I became close when I was over there, and I never thought. Oh, sorry, intercom system. Do you need me to keep going on that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
that's no problem.
Just background noise.
So Coach Bousquet gave me an opportunity. It was at the Trent Richardson football camp that he held over there at Escambia High School. Coach Bousquet pulled me to the side and said, hey, have you ever thought about getting into high school coaching? And at that time, I was still coaching at Myrtle Grove. Year 4 over there at the juniors. I was coaching juniors with my brother from another mother, Eshawn Knight. Shout out to you. And he's like, hey, come coach with me. And, he needed some help on the freshman staff. And talked to my wife because we were just starting to have our first kid at that point in time. And as well as anybody else, whenever you have a child and you're married, it's a lot of responsibility.
Right.
So she ended up giving us the go ahead, and that was the time Coach Willie Spears was in his second year there, and he approved, and that gave me my coaching break, and I spent 4 years at my alma mater. Had a great time and learned a lot from Coach Bousquet.
Yeah, wow, Coach Spears too.
Yeah, I think Coach Bousquet gave me my worst loss ever.
In football or baseball?
In football, 9th grade. One night you remember the year they had Jabari Fry? I think they ran 52 on us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did 52-7 in the 9th grade game. Back then, they didn't have no mercy rule back then.
Let me ask you this: was
you
that
just had to play that out?
That the year that we were still throwing in the fourth quarter?
Yes, that was us. You were still slinging it in the fourth, and you had to breathe Fry or something. And
I coached against him when he was on varsity, man. Oh my gosh! I just walked. That was the night I walked over to Coach Douglas and said, "Coach, we're just gonna have to outscore him." And that's the last thing you want to hear from your defensive coordinator.
Hey, so to the throwing, it was like the third or fourth string guy. We needed to get some reps. But I mean,
I was trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
All right, Dixie. Talk about mom and dad and any siblings. Did you have any brothers or sisters?
Yes. So I had my mom and dad. Were divorced at an early age, but my mom and dad played instrumental part in my whole life. Both of them were in my life. Both of them were very supportive of me whenever it comes to my athletics and, the dreams that I had to do. And, to this day, mom's still one of the biggest fans. Unfortunately lost my dad in 2019 due to cancer. But up until that day, he was very proud of the deals that I accomplished. We actually got to work together his last couple years. We were working together in the district, and so I really got to spend a lot of time with him for the last 3 to 4 years of his life. And he kept tabs on me, but both of my parents mean the world to me. And I got a little brother. He's 31, 32 right now, born in 93. And that's my best friend right there. We don't get to talk a lot or all the time. He's doing his thing down in Central Florida, with his career and all that good stuff. But best believe that I picked the phone up, it's like we hadn't missed a day. And that's my closest ones I got to me right there on the family side.
All right, talk about your coaching journey, man. Where you started, where you're, and then we'll end up at Pine Forest and talk a little about Coach Paul Bryan after.
Yeah, so coaching journey was, like I said, we started at Escambia, and I was about year 4 into the district and year 4 in the high school coaching, and I was a volunteer coach while I was at Escambia. And, whenever you're in this coaching journey, you look for opportunities to move up, and you look for opportunities to, show your skill and advance your skill. Because if you're not, then what are we really doing? So at the time, Escambia was going through a transition. That was at the time that Coach Davis was coming out and Coach Bennett was coming in. And it left the door open for me to start exploring some things. And I know y'all are familiar with Coach Rollins, Coach Kevin Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
So he was my high school coach at Escambia, and we stayed close years on after. And basically, at that time, he became the defensive coordinator, or he was the defensive coordinator at PHS. And I was working maintenance, and I was walking through the halls of PHS one day doing my job, and I saw him out the door, and we had a conversation. And I said, we're going through a transition, but I'm always looking for opportunities to advance or, better my career per se. And he said, let's talk. And basically we talked, and, he Coach Mincy agreed to bring me on as the middle linebacker coach. And along with Coach Garrett. Coach Garrett was already there, so we split the linebacker duty. But it gave me my opportunity to get a taste of the varsity football lifestyle and coaching. Mm-hmm. And I spent 5 great years there coaching football. And, I got my break in track and field year 2 at PHS when the coaches that were doing at track, Coach Cower, went to Escambia, which left the girls program open, and then Coach Mincy and Coach Coach Wayne, they were doing track. Well, they went on to do other things, so track and field was open, and Coach Mincy at the time said, "Hey man, you should take that if it ever comes open." And I was like, "Great idea!" So we went ahead and talked to Principal Williams and said, "Hey, I want to give this track thing a try." I knew a little bit about track, but I didn't know probably what I should have to be a head coach at the time. But one thing about it is I know how to lead. I know how to prepare. Yeah. And one of the best things I've ever done is when you become a head coach, you hire people that know more than you do.
Yes, smarter than you. That's right. And about certain things. Yeah, exactly.
So I had some people that I knew that I reached out to and said, "Hey, let's do this thing, and I want you guys to come along. I can be the leader, but I need to learn from you guys about how other things work."
Right.
And they took me by the hand, and I took them by the hand, and we went into that thing together. And after the first year, I was hooked. And wow. And what's crazy is we'll get into it, but it's a similar story with Coach Brian, if you've ever heard his story.
Yes, we have.
And so we did that, and then the next year I said, "Look, I may not coach football my whole life, but this track and field thing, this is what I want. This is what I want to do." And like I said, spent 5 years at PHS, 4 years as a head track coach, and it came down to a certification issue with teaching one time, because also PHS gave me my opportunity to be in a classroom for the first time. So I gave up my maintenance job in the district.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Got my degree while I was still working maintenance, and PHS gave me my first opportunity to teach. So
that's good stuff, Dixie. Yeah, thanks for being you, man.
Yes, sir.
That's great.
Those kids at PHS, okay, they saw that.
Yes.
Right? They saw where you came from and what you evolved into. Don't underestimate that. Don't underestimate the impact that you made over there in those 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about Coach Bryant, man. He is so beloved. He's actually a living legend right now, even though he's too humble to say it. But man, tell me some of the things you learned from him. And he's back in the game now. He's back in.
He is. So I'll tell you this. First of all, Coach Bryant is probably one of the closest human beings I am. I'm closer to him than most human beings. Over the last 4 years, he and I have really got to a point where, we have an inseparable relationship, as far as I look at him, as that male influence, because, like I said a while ago, I lost my dad in 2019. And while I have influences, Coach Brian has really taken me under his wing and showed me a lot that I still needed, because I miss those conversations with my dad. I miss those, hey, you probably want to think about this before you do it conversations.
And, right. Wisdom, advice.
Yeah, and Coach Brian has been able to fill that void a lot for me when I need to call on somebody. And working next to him the last 4 years has probably been the best thing that's happened to my career. And
you learn a lot of X's and O's. You learn probably a lot of techniques about the different events
Yep.
If you want to touch on that, but you also learned probably, I don't know, maybe how he handled meets or situations or practice versus meets, because I know coaches sometimes in football, you got to have a different demeanor in practice than you do in a game. And I learned that from one of my coaches. So talk about the different stuff that you learned from.
So remember, we go back what I said before. I knew how to lead. I knew how to do the logistics side of it. But you're absolutely right. When I got over here, Coach Brian's like, okay, this is how we break down a track meet. This is how we break down what we want to do. It's a point system. And this is a progression sport. If what we run in February, we should be faster by the time we get to April. If we're running our fastest times in February, we've done messed up. And so he was able to take me under his wing. I don't want to give all our secrets now. So
right. But training period, right? That's what they're called,
yes.
Periods. Training periods. You probably learned that how to peak, how to go soft, and how to go hard.
Yep. Cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. Yeah. So for instance, we're fixing to gear up here with our preseason, and we're going to go through a preseason cycle, and all we're going to do is build strength and conditioning and build a base here, and then when the calendar turns, we're going to go to cycle 1, and cycle 1 would be, okay, these workouts for sprinters, we got to have this stuff done in this time. Distance runner, we got to have it done in this time, and he just taught me a lot about how to break it down. You got your over/under days. You got your days where you go you go over. What I mean by that is distance wise, and then you got your days where you go
heavy
short.
And light. Yeah, heavy and light days.
Yes, and you just you make your schedule where it fits for you as a coach and what you're looking for your team to go on. And and he also taught me a lot about how to evaluate an athlete. I don't know if you guys know, but everybody mostly comes to you and says, yeah, I was a sprinter in middle school. Well, middle school track and high school track are two different things. What we have what we call a tryout period, or, basically a skills test. Okay, we take 4 or 5 different events, and how you do on those is based on, hey, this is where we think you would be able to fit in this program at this time.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you won't be what you want to be later, but based on what we have and what you've done and shown us, this is the need we need you to feel right now. And so I think it's important that, I understood that, because when I first got into the game, I just look at the times and it's like, oh, we got a 15, 16 second 100-meter runner. Well, we're going to keep trying. But in reality, I'm probably not doing the best thing for the athlete at that time. And so, yes, he and I would spend many a nights at the table going over that stuff.
That's interesting to me. That's cool stuff. All right, Coach. Your favorite sporting event. What is your favorite overall sporting, whether it's Olympic, Super Bowl, whatever it is? What is your favorite event to watch?
I'm the Olympics at this point in time in my life, and here's why. Being the track coach for the last 9 years, I see what my athletes go through, and just to see and know the work that those guys are putting in on that stage against the best in the world, it gets emotional. And, because you watch the stories, you see the stories, and, you get to travel the world in track and field. And, in football, if you have a bad play, huddle back up, let's try again. And track, if you have a bad start, you just, your 4 years that you just put to that moment,
right?
You have to either wait again and then hope that your career doesn't pass you by the next time you get an opportunity.
Right. Yeah, it's a tough moment, man. And we're lucky to have the world's fastest runner at one time, Justin Gatlin.
Right.
And I think Coach Brian has a relationship with Justin.
Yes.
So it all brings it in. My dad was a track and field guy, man. To this day, I love to watch. Yeah, that was his favorite sport, I think. But, I love to watch track and field, and the Olympics is definitely number one. I don't know. I'm a big Jim Thorpe fan.
Yep.
Jim Thorpe was the most amazing athlete ever to walk the earth. I think Bo Jackson was too. But the things he did in track in the 1912 Stockholm games will never be seen. Will never be seen again.
1912.
He was doing visualization in 1912.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, on the ship on the way over there because it took like 2 weeks to get over there. So.
Oh man, yeah, they had
not much workouts on the ship, right?
Yeah, they didn't have.
He was like counting off the long jump, and then he had counted off 24 feet, and he just went back to his hammock, and everybody thought he was lazy, but Jim Thorpe was not a lazy guy. But he was just the opposite actually. But he was visualizing that 24 feet because he knew that's what would win it. He won like 4 out of 5 pentathlon events. So crazy. All right, Dixie, what's going forward, man? How's your team shaping up? How you guys looking? What are your goals for this year?
So team's looking good. Got a lot of interest this year. We've probably had more interest this year in our program than we've had the last couple of years. And I think it's a lot to do with the foundation that was built here. And, a lot of that is credit to Coach Brian. And, I got to, be a part of that the last 4 years. And I'm just looking at carrying on what's already been done here. The blueprint's set. I don't have to come in and do things differently.
Reinvent the wheel, yeah.
Reinvent the wheel. But if I had to guess right now, we got about 55 to 60 girls that are interested in coming out. Now, will they all show up or will they all pan out? No, but if they do, I'm going to run 2 teams. I'm going to run a varsity and a developmental team. Wow. I've already committed to do that because I believe in giving the opportunity to show me what you can do, especially the younger kids, 9th and 10th graders.
Yeah, whoever wants to get out there.
Yeah, you don't know what they can develop into over time with
right. They're too young. Yeah, they're too young. You can't tell. You can't tell that age.
And I've been blessed to have 12 coaches on our staff this year. So I mean I lose the GOAT, which I understand why, and I lost my sprint coach to another school, and wish them all the best of luck. But at the end of the day, I gotta get Pine Forest going in the right direction. I can't dwell on what's going on.
What have you talked to Paul? I guess you have, since you're good friends. Is he excited about coming back, or is he like apprehensive, or is he like excited about trying to build a new program over there at Tate? I mean, what's his thoughts on it?
All the above. We talk 2 to 3 times a week, and he's probably the only phone call that I can go past 10 o'clock without my wife looking at me strange, or stay on an hour's worth.
Yeah.
But Coach Brian's rejuvenated. What people don't understand is Coach Brian never lost the passion or want to retire from coaching. The fact of the matter is that, he wanted to coach, and he's a coach, and he stayed on with us last year after he retired from the school district and then retired from being a head coach. And, I won't go into all our conversations because those conversations are between us. But at the end of the day, it's like he's told numerous people, my intention was to never be a head coach again. But being around last year and then just finding that juice, it's like, man, I think I could do this a little bit more. And, Coach knew we were in a good spot, and it's like Tate's opportunity came on, and he's like, Coach, I think because he and I had talked over the year about what might be, and not saying it was Tate or anybody else, but Coach and I have had private conversations about what the future may hold. But the opportunity came, and my man's chomping at the bit, ready to go, and
Dixie. He doesn't have to grind during the day. That's a huge difference, man. Yeah, when I was working and coaching, it was a grind working 2-3 jobs. But when I stopped working and just coached, it's a little bit more fun, a little bit easier. Yeah,
imagine
a little bit easier.
And sometimes I'll text and be like, "Hey, I bet you're outside of the beach with a umbrella watching the waves, and I'm here at school teaching math or teaching with math, and you're out there listening to the waves crash for practice, getting your mind right, and
getting your mind right. Come on,
that's right, Dixie.
That sounds like you're bitter.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bitter, jealous, maybe a little jealous.
He
ain't there.
I'm over here doing probabilities and stats, racking my brain like, okay, this is how I learned it, but I got to figure out how the kids can learn it. And, my brain's fried by the time I go to practice. He pulls up in that white truck like, all right, here we go, guys. I'm
all right.
Good to go.
Yeah, hey, man, I know how it was, man. I was grinding and I get out to practice. I had to psych myself up, and I did. I psyched myself up, and I just go on there with a huge bunch of, enthusiasm and attitude, and I would scream, "It's a beautiful day for football." And if you bring the juice, the other guys will bring the juice.
100%.
If you don't bring no juice, those kids ain't.
They'll lay down on you.
They'll lay down. All right, Dixie, you got time to pick the college football games with us this week?
Yeah, let's go. According
I got 13 games.
Good.
I got 13 games. Hobbs went 6-6. I got lucky last week and went 9-3 against the spread. Okay. So I hope somebody made some money off me. I don't know.
So, all right, here we go. Straight up or spread?
Spread.
Oh, we're going against the spread, baby. Ohio State 13.5 at Illinois, 11 o'clock on Fox. I got Illinois cover.
I like Illinois.
Hobbs got them.
I'm going Ohio State. They while they haven't looked good the last 2-3 weeks, I don't think Illinois has looked the best that they could the last couple of weeks defensively.
Yep, fair enough. That's a tough one. Next one's pretty tough too because I haven't seen these two teams play. But this Oregon quarterback, Dante Moore, man, he seems like the real deal. They're 7.5-point favorites hosting Indiana, 2:30 on CBS. I'm going with Oregon. Indiana's tough, but I got to go with the home team.
I like the Ducks as well at home.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the Ducks based on I think they had a bye week last week.
Right. Good point.
I also think Indiana had a bye week, but Indiana barely scraped through Iowa, and Iowa plays tough defense, but
they can't score.
Yes,
Good point, Dixie. Good point, man. Good point. Texas A&M 7.5-point favorites hosting Florida. Florida found their game a little bit. They got a great defense. I'm gonna give up the points. I'm gonna take the Gators to cover. I think Texas A&M might squeak it out, but I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Go ahead, Dixie.
I think we're all guessing at what Florida team's showing up this week.
That's what I say. Go ahead.
Hey, listen, they do enough just to not get Coach Napier fired.
Right.
Yeah, they're playing to the level of their competition.
Yeah, so I actually think that is it at Florida or Texas A&M?
A&M.
Go ahead, give me the Aggies. They're hot right now. I'm gonna take the Aggies on this one.
Okay.
They're hard to trust, but I'll take the 12th man as well.
Take the 12th man as well. All right, not a bad bet. All right, Oklahoma, getting 2.5 points at Texas. John Mateer, if he does play with that broken hand, I don't see how he can come back in 17 days from a broken finger, man, on his throwing hand. If it was on his left hand, I could see, but I think Texas plays a lot better at home. They're at home, and so I'm taking Texas 2:30 on ABC.
Yeah, I'm going to take Texas too. Sarkisian's too good of a coach to not get this thing back together. And and I think it might be a struggle, but I think Texas will pull it out at home.
This game is at the Texas Fairgrounds, right? This game's played at the same
Red River.
This game's played at the same site every year, so it's a neutral site. I'm going to Oklahoma.
All right, not a bad bet. I like that.
Now, if Mateer was playing at full strength, it would be a no-brainer to me. But
it would be too, man. They're a better team than Texas, but Texas back is against the wall, and Shark will come out. All right, Alabama 4-1, 2.5-point favorites at Missouri. Quarterback Krabula is completing 76% of his passes at Missouri, but I think Ty Simpson's better. Mizzou has the best running back, though, maybe in the country. He's an NFL guy, that Ahmad Hardy. But I never go against Bama. And I win 60% or 70% of the time. So 2.5 points. I'm giving up 2.5.
I got one question. Let's see if you can answer this. What color hoodie is DeBoer wearing?
Not black.
Because if he ain't wearing black, then I don't know if I can go with it. Because when they wear black, he normally does well. But no, Alabama's actually playing more to Alabama standards. And like you said, Mizzou may have the best running back, but it's tough to beat a good Alabama team that's going on a roll. And I think after that loss to Florida State, and then they were in a barn burner last week, give me Alabama.
Yep. Go ahead, Dixie. Hobbs?
Alabama doesn't play well on the road. 2.5 points. I think the wise guys know something. I'll take those 2.5 at home.
All right, Hobbs. All right, Texas Tech, 13.5 point favorites, hosting Kansas, 6:30 on Fox. I'm taking Texas Tech.
I'm going to take Texas Tech too. Texas Tech's offense is pretty stout.
Pretty stout. Yeah, pretty stout.
They can run it. They can throw it.
They can. Kansas is down, I think.
They're down. This year. Wow. 13.5 is a lot of. Yeah, I'll take Kansas. I'll take Kansas. Yeah.
All right. All right. Georgia's only giving up 3.5 at Auburn, who's 3-2, 6:30 on ABC. I just think Georgia is much better than Auburn. I think they should beat them by 7, 8, 10 points. I'm taking Georgia.
I'm going to take Georgia as well. If Georgia gets that running game going and then complement the pass, I think that I don't think Auburn has the offense that can keep up with what Georgia can do.
Yeah, good point.
So give me Georgia on that.
All right.
I'll take the 3.5 at home.
All right. We're going to go LSU hosting South Carolina. LSU's 9.5 point favorites. I don't think LSU is as good as everybody thinks. South Carolina stays within 10 points. I'm taking South Carolina.
I wish I did a little bit more research on this to see if LSU's offensive lineman was coming back and if their running back was going to come back, because the previous game, running back was out, Kalen Durant was out, and then they lost an offensive lineman, and evidently they don't have the depth that we think they do, and Nussmeier is hurt as well. So while I like LSU, I'm going to have to take South Carolina because South Carolina is playing with a full squad, I believe, versus a beat-up LSU team right now.
I didn't know they were that injured, but that happens to teams, man.
Now give me the 10 points at home.
All right. Tennessee's giving up 12.5 to Arkansas. Arkansas is trending down. Tennessee can score a lot of points. Arkansas may keep this within 10 points. I don't know. I'm just a picker. I'm taking Tennessee.
So the Bobby Petrino 2.0 era starts this week at Arkansas. Hopefully stays off the motorcycles. But I think Tennessee will come out on top. Arkansas will play hard, but I think when Tennessee plays to their game and their offense, and I haven't seen that Arkansas be able to stop anybody right now, and Tennessee's offense is as high octane as they are. Give me right. Tennessee.
Hobbs, taking the points. Nope. All right, yeah. Georgia Tech, 14.5 points favorites. Virginia Tech, they fired their coach. I saw on Pat McAfee's show, Coach Bruce Arians is on there. One of my old coaches at Alabama, Bruce Arians. He's a Virginia Tech guy, quarterback of Virginia Tech. Matter of fact, he went on a conference call yesterday to talk about what's going on there at Virginia Tech. They're in a mess right now. Georgia Tech's Brent Key's got them playing well. I think they'll beat Virginia Tech by more than 14. I'm taking the Ramblin' Wreck.
Where's this game at?
At Georgia Tech in Atlanta.
Give me Georgia Tech. They're running when their running game and Haynes King gets going. It's
that might be the lock of Bama, or this one is the lock of the week. I can't decide which one. All right, we got 3 more. Michigan at USC. I'm taking USC just because they're at home. 2.5 points. Michigan's giving up 2.5.
That might actually be a pretty good game. So you say
Yeah.
2.5 point favorite?
Yeah,
USC.
Michigan's given up to, or USC is favored by 2.5 in Michigan.
Give me USC. I think USC they played well, and they came. I don't know who it was they played 2 weeks ago, but they came from behind and showed a resilience that they can. And
they're not ranked, but they're favorites. There's always something up with that one. This is like an unranked team is like 3-point favorites over a 15. For Michigan over a blue blood. Something's up.
Yeah, there's something we don't know about. I don't know if something good or the. Yeah. I thought Marone or the Sherman Moore, the head coach at Michigan, had to sit out a week or something for.
Oh, right, he does. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's this week or last week or what, but some internal issues going on inside the Blue House.
Mm-hmm.
South Florida, Keon Helton's coaching down the assistant DB coach down there. Of course, upset Clemson, and they are Florida, right? Beat Florida. They're only favored by 1.5 at North Texas. Now I know North Texas has a good squad, but I don't think they're as good as South Florida. So I'm gonna give up the 1.5 and take South Florida.
Yeah.
I'm going to take South Florida, but I'd be interested to know what the over is on that one.
I don't know.
Well, it's a Friday night game, so they're going to try to. When you're Friday night and you're one of the only games out there, you want to kind of light it up.
Light it up and see.
So you probably want to take the over in that game.
Yeah, because South Florida can light it up with anybody, and then North Texas ain't too shabby either. So.
Yeah. We got Chris Neptune from Tate High at South Florida. He's been playing quite a bit and doing quite well.
Good. Good. All right, last one. Pitt getting 10.5 points at FSU. I think this is a lock too. I don't see Pitt coming anywhere near FSU. I think FSU beats them by 20 points. Taking the Seminoles.
I think FSU's got to have a good bounce back game. You know, 2 weeks in a row where it's been heartbreak. So I think Coach Norvell gets them back together. Their athlete that got hurt came out of the hospital today. So FSU was going to be playing for him. Pritchard.
Yep. Great news. Yeah, great news. He's doing well, that kid.
I think FSU's on a high right now, and they're going to play for their brother.
Yep.
Give me FSU.
All right, Hobbs, taking points.
I am taking every one of them. This would be my lock of. I wouldn't be shocked if Pitt wins this outright.
Really?
The Pitt had Louisville down 17-0 in the first and lost. Pitt could easily be undefeated. That it just shows the strength of the ACC conference. I think Pitt. If I had one game, Pitt to win outright.
Okay.
All right, Dixie. Hey, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, thank you.
Man, I appreciate y'all. I always love the opportunity to come on and talk with you, Coach Tripp and Coach Hobbs. And
thank you.
Let's do it a little bit. Hey, I want to plug in one thing. We got a fundraiser golf coming up November 22nd for anybody that wants to come out support the Pine Forest High School track and field team. We're
November 22nd.
Yes.
22nd? Yeah, 22nd or 21st.
Okay.
22nd. It's going to be at Scenic Hills Country Club.
Scenic Hills Country Club. What time?
9:30 a.m. shotgun start.
Oh man, sounds good to me.
I checked to make sure that there wasn't many games going on, and I think the biggest game that day is Florida Tennessee, but hopefully they play it at night. Hey, when you do stuff like that, you got to check the SEC, ACC.
That's right, man. Yeah, you're no dummy. You're getting to be old. You're getting to be an old veteran now. Thanks, Coach. Thank you for what you do, man.
Thank you. Yes.
And thank y'all, and look forward to seeing y'all soon.
Yeah, we'll see y'all. We'll see you out at the meets, Coach. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Wow, he's awesome.
Man, that was incredible.
Awesome, yeah, Coach Dix is awesome, dude.
That was incredible. That he was in maintenance.
Yeah,
and then went back to school.
Yeah, when he was coaching at PHS, and I was subbing over there.
He came in. He came. I just missed him. He came in right after I left, so I never had the pleasure of meeting him.
Yeah, what a good
personally,
dude,
but man, for those kids to see him evolve.
Do that, man.
Right.
It's a beautiful example. He's a great dude. All right, let's jump into high school. It's week 8. I went 8-0 last week. I got lucky.
You're on fire.
I'm on fire. I'm going to call Reed Halfacre to fireman to put me out. Halfacre, calling Halfacre 911. All right, we got Pace 5-1 at Tate 5-1. This is a district game. This game, we're either going to this or Pine Forest, Washington. We're either going to one. I'm going to take Pace over Tate. I think Pace is just too strong.
Yeah.
All right. I've got him too. Pine Forest 1-4 at Washington. This is a critical district game, right, Coach?
Yes, exactly. Right now, Washington still controls their own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
They have to win tonight or tomorrow night, and Pine Forest. Obviously, I'm actually going to go with Pine Forest. I'm taking history. Plus, I'm behind in the picture, but I'm taking history. So
he's not taking his alma mater.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
No.
All right, here we go. Catholic 6-1. Bobby Clayton's really got them rolling. At Walton 2-4. They're just too much for Walton.
They're going to take it out on Walton for last year. Yeah.
All right. PHS 2-4. At Escambia 2-4. Hobbs, tell our viewers about the washer boiler. Some of the kids at Pensacola High have probably never seen it. Matter of fact, none of them have never seen it. It's probably been at Escambia last 10, 11, 12, 13 years. Really?
Yeah. Probably since 12. So do the math on that. I almost would pick this PHS as an upset, but I think Coach Bennett will have his guys ready to go in a lot closer game than most people think.
Yes, I agree. All right, Bay 5-1, really a good team, highly ranked in the state. At West Florida 4-2. This is a district game. West Florida really needs to win this, but I think Bay is just too strong.
Way too strong and too fast.
Too big. All right, Gulf Breeze 0-6 at Milton tonight, Thursday night. Coach Ronnie is going to be 6-1. The Breezers 0-7.
Yeah, Milton. I would love to go to this game at Milton, but what I'll probably do is go to the Escambia, West Florida 9th grade JV game, and I'll be listening to the Mosley Niceville game on my phone here,
and then texting me.
Yeah. So I'm taking Milton with like everybody else.
All right, Navarre 0-6 at Crestview 2-3. Crestview might be the best 2-3 team in the state. Crestview by a lot.
Yeah, Crestview's playing well right now. So
Jay Northview, old rivalry is tonight. It's not the end of the year. Jay is a little bit stronger than Northview, but I think this is going to be a close game. Jay in a close one.
I think it's going to be a real close game as well. As like I said, I'm behind in the picking. I took Northview in an upset there. I got to have those games.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in.
Real quickly, we want to acknowledge that the passing of Hurley Manning on September 30th at Milton High School. Hurley won the state championship in 78-79. I played against that 78 team and at Milton. They were pretty doggone good. They were 78 and 79. He influenced a lot of players in that Milton Santa Rosa.
Rest in peace, Coach.
Yes.
We'll dedicate this show to you and all the things all the lives that you touched.
Right. And with Milton playing tonight, I'm sure that there'll probably be a moment of silence and stuff like that for Coach. So get out and see a JV or 9th grade game tonight. You got Milton playing varsity.
We got games at Tate, Washington, Escambia tomorrow.
And West Florida.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Hobbs, for joining. Everybody have a great sports night. Stay tuned for these important messages. Without these sponsors, this wouldn't be possible. The show is brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet, Foley, Pensacola, Milton. Go visit your favorite one. So long, everybody.
Peace.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
Herbatrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.
Hey, Bama fans, this is Will Moore, president of the Pensacola Bama Club. You can find us at PensacolaBamaClub.com. We are your official alumni chapter in the Pensacola and surrounding areas. Membership is available to all alumni and all Bama fans, so come see us at one of our many events throughout the year. Our Bama football watch parties are the next best thing to being in Bryant-Denny Stadium. We even serve authentic stadium hot dogs. Membership, event, and contact information will be found on our website at PensacolaBamaClub.com. Roll Tide.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on your home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Will Rentschler is your go-to agent in Pensacola, Florida for the service you deserve at the price that you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Will Rentschler has you covered. Call 850-433-4678 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Legal disclaimer, individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
When it comes to buggies and golf carts, nobody does it like Buggy Works. Hi, I'm JP Wibbs. We've got the largest selection of golf carts on the Gulf Coast. We have a brand new 10,000 square foot state-of-the-art service center and showroom to keep you rolling. We're right here in the heart of Car City at 5831 Pensacola Boulevard. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays 9 to 3. Check us out at buggyworks.com. Buggy Works. Come by and see why we're the #1 Denago dealer in the nation.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray, and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.